Hi guys, a while ago I made a video sharing some of my K-pop confessions, and since it has almost been a year since I posted that video, I decided to make a part 2 because I have more things to talk about. Some of these confessions are quite controversial and will piss some people off, but I don't care. If you want, share your confessions down below. Now let's start. I dislike seeing non-Asians debuting. Okay, hear me out. It's not like I dislike it because of their race. I don't care about that at all. It's just that I don't like how these idols end up being talked about only in relation to their ethnicity. These idols are rarely talked about because of their personality or their talents, and most people only talk about where they come from. They also often end up overshadowing their group mates because people only really talk about them. I get it. Seeing a foreigner debuting in K-pop can be a big deal for K-pop stans, but I hate it how these idols only get attention because of their ethnicity. They're not just their race, they're more than that. But people only seem to care about that aspect, and that's why I don't like it when non-Asians debut in K-pop, because in the end they're never treated like normal people but only like a wow factor. I lost all my respect for Chaeyoung. This might make some stans mad, but I honestly don't give a single fuck. I lost all the respect I had for her after the shirt incident. With that being said, I'm not saying she is anti-Semitic. I'm not saying she did it on purpose and that reflects her views. It was most likely an incident that happened because of stupidity and ignorance. But that doesn't make it any better. I'm sorry, but even the dumbest person on earth is aware of the Holocaust and all of the symbols associated with Nazism. So my guess is that she is aware, but she simply doesn't care. Or maybe she never once in her life paid attention during history class. Whatever it is, I don't care. It's the second time she gets in trouble because of something like this. And if she had even just a bit of decency in her, then she would have paid extra attention instead of making the same mistake twice. Not to mention her apology felt heartless, like something you just write because you have to. It's clear she doesn't give a damn about the situation, maybe because it doesn't concern her culture, and this made me dislike her completely, to the point that I can't stand seeing her face. If you're her fan, you might not like hearing me saying this, but I honestly don't care. This is how I feel. I like it when groups don't try to hide their awkwardness with each other. Maybe it's because I'm an introvert and I relate to that, but I like it when the members of a group are just being their awkward selves around each other. It's clear some groups were a bit awkward in the beginning, groups like IVE, TXT and Luna for example, and I loved how we slowly but steadily witnessed their bond growing into some of the most amazing friendships. There are also other groups and idols that were initially awkward, and I always appreciated how they didn't try to hide it. Some idols might be very extroverted and it might seem like they are best friends from day one. But that's hardly ever the case. They're most likely not close in the beginning, but it seems like they are because they are more chaotic in front of the cameras. That's perfectly fine, but I love it when groups don't try to pretend. I love it when you can clearly see their friendship evolving as time goes by. I think that's super precious, and it seems much more genuine compared to idols who act over the top when in reality they're feeling just as awkward. Some groups rub me the wrong way for no reason. It's a feeling that I can't really explain, but I'm sure you get me. Since this probably happened to you as well. Sometimes there are groups that rub me the wrong way even if they've done nothing to make me dislike them. Sometimes it's because I've had a bad experience with the fandom and that subconsciously influences me negatively. But sometimes there doesn't seem to be any apparent reason. I will never spread hate against them, and I will never tell you who they are, because I don't want anyone to start viewing them negatively because of something I say, especially since these people never did anything wrong. But it's just the way it is, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels this way sometimes. Some fandoms give me not like other girls vibes and I can't stand it. I'm gonna make a couple of examples. First of all, Mamamoo stans. I get it. Mamamoo are super talented, but there's absolutely no need for some muumuus to get so cocky. Yes, the members are talented, but they're not the only talented idols out there. And I also find it cringy how they say Mamamoo is not a girl group. They're a woman group. Because they are mature and make real women music. I'm sorry, what the hell does it even mean? The amount of people I've heard saying this is crazy. It's obvious these people don't know how to appreciate their faves without acting cocky and without being cringy. Another example is Orbits. Luna had one of the best discographies and concepts in K-pop, but this doesn't justify their stans acting as if they were superior to everyone else. Orbits are one of the most entitled fandoms ever. Yes, your faves were unique, but you should learn to appreciate them without rubbing it in other people's faces cause we don't care. Go stan your faves and let people stan their faves in peace. Obviously these are not the only fandoms that give off I'm not like other girls vibes, and obviously I'm not saying everyone in the fandom acts like that, but you get what I mean. I find this behavior pretty absurd and cringeworthy. I struggle to get into soloists. It's not because I don't like them or I think their music isn't as good. It's just that I really enjoy groups because of the whole dynamic of the group itself, because of the relationship between the members, because of the way their voices combine in the songs, because of all the different skills and personalities of each member, which is something soloists can't really give you. Don't get me wrong, soloists are amazing and I absolutely love some of them, but it's harder for me to start standing a soloist like I stan groups. I actually love survival shows. Most people absolutely hate them and I totally get why. There's a lot of evil editing and sometimes they can be very harsh on the trainees, but I personally like them a lot and I always end up watching them. I think it's because they give you the opportunity to discover so many talented trainees that you might have never discovered, especially if they come from really small companies. I love it when I find a very talented and charismatic trainee to support. It makes me want to follow them through their journey and support them until they manage to debut. Like I said, I get why survival shows are hated, and sometimes I hate them too, but I always give them a chance because I'm always looking forward to getting to know new talented people. I used to think multi-stans were superior. Back when I got into K-pop in 2017, I tried to get to know as many groups as possible because I was very curious and I wanted to give a chance to everyone. I used to think you were somehow of a better K-pop stan if you stan more groups instead of only one. I used to think people who only really stan one group were missing out, and maybe that's true, but as time went by I learned how hard it is to actually stan a group fully. It takes a lot of time and a lot of money. It's not something you can do with too many groups, at least I can't, so even if I still consider myself a multi-stan, I only actively follow a few groups and I completely understand people who only follow one. Multi-stans are not superior, they're just better at dedicating their time to multiple artists. At the end of the day it doesn't really matter who you stan and how you stan them. Nobody is superior to anyone, and K-pop is not that serious to be starting fan wars over something so stupid. I think it's okay to feel jealous if your bias is dating. Like, come on guys, jealousy is something that you will naturally feel and there's nothing you can really do about it. We clearly do not own our idols and we have no chance to be with them. But this doesn't mean we cannot develop a crush on them. And just like you get jealous when your in real life crush is going out with someone else, you might also get a bit jealous when you see your bias doing the same. Some of us don't even like idols romantically, but some people do, especially if they're very young. I personally wouldn't give a damn if my faves dated, but some stans might feel a bit of jealousy and I think that's normal. It's perfectly okay unless you go and spread hate on the person they're dating. That's disgusting and if you do that you need a reality check because you don't own your idols. But if you simply feel a bit jealous I don't think it's too weird. Okay, so this was it. Some of these confessions might really make some people mad, but whatever. If you also have some confessions and you don't mind exposing yourself, then feel free to share them. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye everyone.